Previously on Gerbils The Next Generation, Abed and Slippery gave birth to a number of children, including Jo White. 6 months later, Jo White and Abed gave birth to a number of children. I have the brightness increased by up to about 30% here so that we can get a look at the newborns. They're 2 weeks old at this point, and I'm going to spend most of the video with them.
Hello, darling.
And checking in on a few others along the way. Shorty is one of my favorites. There's all elements of sofa politics.
Hey, Shorty.
This is pretty much the safest place to let them out.
You're too fast, aren't you? You still gonna be too fast for me? Where's Shorty?
I'll always want to thump down the seat a bit to make sure I'm not sitting on one of them because they do have a tendency to lose themselves.
Shorty. Oh! Hide and seek. Hide and seek.
They love exploring.
Hello.
Shorty's an absolute darling.
Oh, you're so quick. You're so quick. Oh, oh.
So, yeah, we're looking in on Abed and Jo White's little babies, 2 weeks old at this point, and already growing quite fast. They are well looked after. You can see the close family dynamic. And what you often find is that gerbils bond quite well, as you'd expect, through this initial imprinting conditioning stage. The babies are completely without sight and hearing at this point, but nonetheless, it's quite impressive how they will explore around the tanks. It's very much a key characteristic of theirs. They just want to get out and find out what is around. Listen. I hope you could hear that. They generally squeak a lot more when they're young. It's beautiful. It's like a little singing. There's a nice shot here of the gerbil baby finding their way. The mother's obviously taking care to groom them. This gerbil has their eyes open. Up, I assume can't actually see it. It is remarkable navigation. Granted, it's quite a small space, but they're moving with such confidence. These ones will eventually become known as the foxes. There's 4 or 5 of them. They're all male except for one. And they're just adorable. I don't know about you, but I could eat a whole one, which I hear is a delicacy in some countries, and I can well believe it. I don't know if I put on some garlic butter or some ice cream. Oh, gorgeous. Gorgeous. Baby gerbil is called a cub. Often I'll refer to them as bears, little bears. So this tank is much too small really for them. It's only because they're so young, it's kind of doable. And in any case, I wouldn't want to be moving them to a different tank at this age because they're used to their surroundings, which gives him the ability to navigate just by feeling what is around him. There's one's first flirtation with the ladder. Um, and we'll see shortly them climbing up to the second level. Excuse just the reflections from the plexiglass. It's just so hard to get those key shots.
So much reflection.
Yeah, I was just saying that past me. It's a real gerbil city now. Um, and a lot of destruction. Which is kind of the theme for this January diary video. Destruction versus utter cuteness. Yeah, you can see how narrow the eye was there in that first frame. So gorgeous, but animals that don't really go in for cuddles by humans.
Coming to meet me, aren't you?
So I believe this is their first. The Unstoppable Jo White. That pen is 4 foot high. Jo White is half the size of your hand in length. Abed is well behaved. And this is the baby's first time out in the pen. As I said before, the tank is too small, but also it really needed a clean out. They've been in there they're about 3 weeks old at this point, and it hadn't been cleaned about a week, maybe more before that. Just because gerbils like Jo White, they are so good at hiding their pregnancies. You know, it wasn't like I could prepare for baby gerbils coming and having the knowledge that I can't clear the tank out for weeks. Oh, this is just adorable, is it not? And despite the chaos of woodchip everywhere, this is one of the big pluses in letting gerbils out, to have plenty of spaces. You get to observe how just adorable, how delicious they are. You'll see more of Jo White's circus act here. And she's climbing onto my knee at this point. Hello. Has absolutely no problem with jumping down off the other side. I really enjoyed this moment, just touching the little babies properly for the first time, trying to bond with them. So yeah, woodchip disaster here. You can just get an idea of the amount of cleaning this is taking on a fairly regular basis. Or you could not do it every day or not every 2 days and just leave the mess, leave the gerbils owning your living room versus utter cuteness. Just to bond with this little, like, only about 5 times as big as a ladybug, maybe 6. It's all kinds of fun. you the two extremes. I've joked before about how gerbils breed so quickly. A bit of wood chip over the side, which they're quite likely to do, is kick it over. Put a bit of wood chip in the pen, it'll go everywhere. I will walk the wood chip in, it gets around the house. So I think at this stage we've got like 5 cages or tanks, and all of those will kick chip over.
No. Abed ready?
So what they're resting on is like an old futon. I have the brightness up so that gerbil looks like an albino. It's not really, but we will see albinos come in the future. I like to put a bit of toilet roll in, so they love chewing on the cardboard. But I've started leaving in actual pieces of toilet paper because they can chew that up as well. They can use it for bedding. Shop bought bedding is quite expensive for all it really is. It's just soft, essentially soft shredded toilet paper. I've been getting shredded paper from my parents lately, which they chew up and make into bedding for themselves. We're about to see a special moment here, I believe, towards the end of this clip.
Hello, little cub. Mommy. 2 little cubs up here. 2 little cubs. Oh, I think one just dropped the whole level. Mama Jo White, 7. Hey, Dad. Hello, girl. Our boy. First time in the wheel. First time the wheel has been used too. Very good. Very good. Yes. Very good, little baby.
So we're back for about 3 minutes of pen escapades. And it can be just great just to sit and watch her shoot from bit to bit. You can see I've tried to limit the wood chip to the high up plastic box and away from the box it's on the floor.
Jo White, did you escape again?
Yeah, Jo White's escapes are the Jo White retrieved. Every minute. Have you ever? I mean, I remember being really blown away and describing this to people having the same thing, that a small animal can jump so high. There she goes. No fear. And yes, I could set my clock by it. On the plus, Jo usually comes back or is relatively easy to catch. And Abed's in with the little babes. I mean, Jo's relatively small, but alongside her children, you can get an idea. I mean, they are maybe the size of a finger or a thumb. Yeah, that's some evil shit. Why not try something healthy and educational like the whale? It's just some natural beauty in just watching him. Yeah. Just keeping an eye on all their little behavioral characteristics and such. Following Daddy up and down the ladder to the third level. So although they've taken to the whale, it is time to give them a new home. Which I still feel is too small for them, but it's an improvement. So this is like this is a two-level kind of pull-out drawer in the bottom base. There's no ladder to the upper level, but there is this tube which has rivets that they could climb through. They're too small to do without it because they don't have their mother's leaping skills. But if there's a burrow that connects one end of the tube with the other, they can get to the upper level. And if they can't, then there's water in the lower level. There we go. I'm glad they're making use of it. Because when they are older, they will take to chewing a water bottle so that the water goes everywhere, and that is not at all helpful. The lady I got this tank from was great, ran me to the bus stop. There's a lot of food and toys, including that tube. People selling gerbil tanks are generally really good. They can be expensive, they can be hard to find, but there's a lot of extras usually offered. So we're getting a brief look around Gerbil City here. I'll talk more about this bunch in a future video. The cubs running about now. They're actually a month old, 4.5 weeks. Because that pull-out drawer tank is so still relatively small. I like to let them out and take the drawer and all with them, which is a lot easier than catching them. Because all it takes is a grip that's not tight enough and one flies into the air. And I spent 3 rather frustrating hours trying to find it. brief overview of Gerbil City. Again, I don't like Shorty being on her own in such a small space, but you have to make do with what you have. So as I said before, this is the easiest way of getting them out without losing any. Because it can be a very frustrating process trying to track down a lost gerbil. There's Jo White on the lamb again.
Oh, oh. Where are you now, Jo? Where are you now, Jo White? Hello, I see you. I see you. Oh, oh. Jo White. Jo White, where are you? Oh, bugger.
Yep. Jo does like to bite, as all gerbils do.
Jo White, it's not natural, it's not going to change.
So anything I can give them, even these wooden bridges, which have now replaced the tube to let them onto the upper level, they will and should bite into that bridge to help their teeth grow.
You're naked on the internet. Here's your baby.
Yeah, just adorable. As I might have mentioned.
Hello. Yes, people want to see your cute little babies, not you, naked. Your bits all spread, yes.
And Jo is as unstoppable as ever. She's still with me in August. Still hyperactive, a very larger than life character. And hopefully my next video will focus on other gerbils, because there's a lot of them.